A cloud in the sky. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Trey Renee, and we've got a great show for you, starting with sex. Yep, going there right off the top. If you're still wondering what you like and dislike when it comes to sex, our next guest, our very first guest, is here to talk about where to start and how to communicate that to your partner. Ooh, we welcome back sex coach Christine D'Angelo. Christine.
Hello.
This is interesting to me because if you've had sex, don't you already kind of know what you like and dislike?
Sometimes, right? But a lot of times people go into, let's say, the first sexual experiences not really having any experience at all. So what they tend to do is follow the lead of their partner.
That makes sense.
So they aren't necessarily exploring what they want. They're following the lead of someone else and what they want.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. No, that makes sense. But I guess at some point you start to figure out, like, I don't like that so much.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is it's easy to say, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. But then how do you start exploring and experimenting with yourself to figure out what you do like?
So is that what you do? You start with yourself?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about it. So okay. So how do you do that?
Self-touch, self-exploration is a great way to learn what your own sexual response cycle is. How does your body respond to being aroused, having sexual stimuli? And then you can start to explore what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and start exploring with different kinds of techniques.
Interesting.
To then explore your body.
Because then I figure, though, if you're like exploring yourself, would it feel differently, though, that same sort of maybe touch or experience with a partner than it would with just you?
Now, once you understand what you like and dislike and what feels good, you can better then communicate that with someone else.
Now, how do you do that without killing the vibe?
A lot of times, you can have kind of that initial sexual experience, and then later, outside of that, you can have a conversation. When it's not in that sexy space.
Okay, so not right then and there. Like, you know what? Let's stick a pin in that for a second.
Right.
And let's talk about what I like and don't do that.
Well, I think if you are in a situation where you definitely aren't comfortable with something.
Okay, yes.
Say something.
Yes,
right?
yes.
If you're okay with it in the moment, but you want to bring it up later, that's a great time to say, and I also kind of want to try this. Or you can also say, tell me some things you would like to try. And that kind of breaks the ice of putting the other person to go first.
Yeah, no, I get that. I guess I'm just trying to figure out when would be a good time to have that conversation elsewhere. It seems as though people don't just generally talk about sex like they talk about the weather or the game that's on or their favorite. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, pass the butter. By the way, you know what I'd like to try?
Right. It's an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people because we're not used to talking about it.
Yeah.
So I suggest saying, hey, you want to go for a walk?
Okay.
And then when you're having that side-by-side walking moment, you could say, hey, I'd really like to talk to you about something. It's really important to me.
Okay.
And then bring it up.
No, it's a good idea. It's just, I know people need to get it into practice.
Yes.
Including myself, because just sitting here talking to you about it, I'm like, I don't know, but it just seems
Tell me
like.
what you like, right?
Shush. Okay, what else? What else can we do? Are there other tools that we can use?
So exposing yourself to sexy content, reading erotica, watching a movie that is kind of known for having some sexy love scenes, or some sexy scenes.
By yourself or with your partner?
Either or. I think if you were to watch it by yourself, really recognizing and asking yourself, what really resonated with me about that? What excited me about that scene? So I have a couple examples here of erotica. Okay. So this is sexy literature. The first one is Flesh and the Word. This is kind of, it's written by a man, like kind of the male perspective, male gaze. Okay. So this is just a bunch of short stories.
Yeah, it is a bunch.
Yeah.
Small print. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this is gonna make some, look how small. There's a lot happening in this book. Okay. Yeah. Okay, what else do you have?
So the other one I have here is Delta of Venus, which is erotica written by Anais Nin. And this is older erotica from about in the 40s. So Anais Nin started out as a poet, and she was actually commissioned by an individual to write erotica for his own consumption.
Oh, wow.
So this is really, really good stuff right here.
And do you just go to your local public library to find these books? Or?
I go to Powell's. Powell's has a great erotica section. Stores like Shebop, the female friend.
Yes, we love Shebop around here. Yes.
Erotica. That's actually where I bought this book. Best of the best women's erotica.
Hello.
Yeah, so this one's really fun too. So it's just a collection of short stories. And what I suggest doing is reading this, keeping a journal, and when you really like a story, kind of dissecting what you liked about it, what excited you, what turned you on. If you find yourself wanting to move on from a story and being like, this isn't really doing anything for me, examine why. What didn't you like about it? And that's
so how can you do that? Okay, let's say, for example, you tell your partner, hey, I'm kind of wanting to, I don't know, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking play dress up, right? And they say, oh no, that's not really my jam.
Then you can keep it for yourself. This is an activity that you can do for yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
And you don't think that that causes any kind of friction in the bedroom later?
I
think it would stay in the mind of someone. You know what I mean?
But you're also allowing your partner in from the very beginning. You're saying, hey, this is something I'm going to start exploring. You're welcome to join me in it. Try it out with me a couple times. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But I like it. And it's actually something I want to keep doing for myself.
Oh my gosh, okay. You know what? Empowering ourselves to explore and be okay with it.
And by becoming more and more aware of what we like and dislike, it creates sexual confidence. And that's something a lot of people want more of.
Yeah. Well, we don't know a lot about it. That's why. So this is so good that you're here to talk about this. Now, what if you're single? You don't have a consistent partner. What then?
That's a fantastic time to utilize that solo time to explore all of these wonderful things about your sexy self.
Oh, I like that, your sexy self.
Yeah. So for instance, like if you're not into actually holding a book, right? And there's a local woman who started a company called The Felt Sense, and she curates, writes, directs, produces audio erotica. So it's meant to be heard through headphones.
Oh, audio erotica.
Yeah, so you listen to it and you can be relaxed and you're just like, oh, this is working for me. Like I really like it. And then you can do the same thing of journaling about it. What excited you? Really paying attention to patterns, any patterns that you find along the way.
All right, well, let's just not do that on the TriMed, on the Max. We'll just do that separate. I don't want to sit next to anyone that's listening to the autoerotica. But you know, do you. I'm no judgments. This is all good stuff. I appreciate you so much. You know how much I do. We're going to have more information about Christine for you on our website with all of her tips and tricks at KATU.com. All right, coming up next, Kara hit the red carpet and is going to show us why Superpower Dogs is a must-see movie for the entire family. Don't go away.